Hello. Join me and two friends as we hike the challenging Etienne History Trail in Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park. If you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free and it would help me build the work I'm trying to do. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's Henry again, and we're off on another day hike, this time to Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park. I'm going to spend the day hiking with a couple of friends of mine, and I hope we hopefully will meet in a little while. And we're going to do the 9-kilometer loop on their hiking trails. Now, 9 kilometers doesn't sound like a lot for a day hike, and I'm with you on that. However, the trails in this park, for some reason, are really rugged. The trail bed has a lot of round stone and rugged footing, so you can't really get going. And there's a lot of very stark elevation in this park. This particular trail seems to find most of it. Now, we'll walk from the campsite, so we'll probably add another kilometer or so, either one way or both ways, to get into that 10 to 11 range. But I've done this twice. In one way or another, 2 attempts. One, I did the loop. It was in mid-May, and the temperature got up to 27, and I really felt it. And the other time I did it, I had done other stuff that day, and I decided to do this slightly easier path, the Green Trail. And there's a trail that cuts across in the middle, and I decided to take that one to abort the hike because I just didn't feel like going on into the end. However, it's a very nice trail and a very wild one, and well worth the time. So different parks have different trail structures, and of course that's controlled by the landscape you have with you, of course. But even then, it seems like at one time or another, in some places, the trail developers chose the harder route. I remember in Algonquin Park back in the day, it seemed that the Western Uplands Trail was a lot tougher in the beginning than it seems to be now. And I don't think that my fitness is materially different, to be honest with you. Also, the Highland Backpacking Trail had some truly legendary ups and downs in the beginning. Now, maybe that was designed to keep neophytes off the trail. In other words, beating people down before they get too far in. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But this trail certainly has that flavor, and I'm quite looking forward to sharing it with my friends. So stay tuned, folks. We're off to Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park. See you in a little while. Just picked up a little bit of mist here. Probably because we're a little bit closer to the big rivers. But this will burn off before too long. seconds of motion time, but whatever. Hello everybody, we are at Champlain, and I got Will and Laura with me. We're going on the Etienne system, named after Etienne. We're going to do the blue loop. We'll see if we're all still here at the other end of the day. So we'll see you later. Enjoy. Go ahead through there. Yep. Hello folks, we're just getting started here at Champlain, and we're just walking through the campground and through a couple of little cross trails before we begin our walk to the Etienne system, where we didn't drive to the parking lot, so we've got to walk along the access road, and that just adds probably about 2 kilometers to the day. The trail is 9 kilometers long, but my experience has been that this is a long 9K. The surface of the trail has a lot of roundstone in it. You don't really get a hiking rhythm going, and a lot of very sharp verticals. So we'll see if it's how I remember it, and we'll see what Laura and Will have to say about it. But it is a beautiful trail, and it's pretty wild, so really looking forward to that. So here we are out of the campground, and you can see now we're at the access road. There's the sign. And we'll go off to the right towards the trailhead. All right, we're at the trailhead here at the Etienne system. And behind me is the map. I'll put that on properly, but it's the blue trail. We're going to go all the way around to what they call the gut and back, and by the time we're done I probably won't have a gut anymore, so we'll see what happens. So you can see with this trail how much there is in roundstone, and the footing is quite tricky, and with roundstone of course it's easy to roll an ankle. So, and it's like this most of the way. So this is a good trail, pardon me, to get used to trekking poles.
After the editing and production, but sure.
This is one of the interior lakes on the south side of this trail. The Mattawa River is behind us about a half a kilometer.
is about 20 meters. I would say it's probably 1 and 3 slope, something like that. The sharp rocks do help though. Yeah, I made it second time.
Our first view of the historic Mattawa River. So all the fur traders came down. We'll see more of it later.
It's gorgeous, although I know the answer to that question is when you're driving at Yellowstone and you see a bear cub on the side of the road, you lean over and you want to get a better view, so you put down the window on your spouse's side of the car.
Life insurance again.
As close as I've been to being fed poison mushrooms.
You know it.
So hiking here is a very rocky experience. The Mattawa River would have been a spillway when glaciers melted, and though of course we're up on the hill here, but the river would have been way bigger than it is today, and all this was dropped when the glacier melted and through the wash. And pretty amazing to think that it's just sitting here for 10,000 years and then the vegetation laid on top of it. Just hear the canoe coming down the river singing Alouette. So this is my third time at this trail, and I think that the last two times really put me under because of the heat. It's more moderate today, maybe in the high teens and not too humid. We've gone 6 and we're here at the gut, at the farthest extent of the trail. And you've done some, but I feel pretty reasonable. The trail is rocky all the way. Some of it's sharp, some of it's round. You get a few gaps where it's more of a dirt surface, but the pitches are quite aggressive and steep when they do come. But again, I think for me at least, where I'm mostly affected by temperature, that's what's been my undoing when I did this in the past. And the view, as you've seen already, up the Mattawa River, well actually down it, is truly amazing. And you can just imagine backing up the clock a few hundred years and the initial explorers, and they all came through here, Champlain and Cartier and all the rest of them at one time or another. Maybe Cartier didn't come this far, but all of the explorers, this was the way into the interior of North America. And it's hallowed ground, if you will, for that part of the history of Canada. So anyhow, we're just enjoying a nice break here, and then we'll be on to the other half. So about we've gone 6, so probably 4.5. So another 3 or so is fairly tough, and then the last couple of K on this are quite reasonable, boardwalky kind of smoother sections, and then the road before we get, of course, and then all the way back to the campsite. So you've got 3 to 4 kilometers still of pretty wild stuff, and then it smooths out. I'm carrying about 22 pounds today, including everything, and I'm really enjoying the hike so far, including the company. And there she is. We've all had a good lunch.
Yeah, it was great.
Like the view up there?
Oh, isn't it gorgeous?
We'll ask you.
I think that was a turtle. It's not a turtle, it's the edge of a tree or something. It's just stopped growing up. That's amazing. Everywhere you look up here, it's something new. If you keep going at a good clip, you can miss everything. But there's some beautiful mushrooms. Like there's huge ones. There's also like the tiniest little mushroom you've ever seen, all along the way. It's just been a gorgeous hike.
And that's the thing. You're right. With the rocks and stuff, you are looking down a lot, and that you do have to pay attention to that. And that's right. But hammering, winter's coming soon enough. So taking a few extra seconds to just enjoy it, absolutely. So, well, I'm glad you're having a good time. We'll do a little talk at the end and see what your favorite part of the trip was.
All right, there we go.
I'll let you think about that still.
Okay, who's that over there? There's a bird.
Yeah, or a frog. I thought it maybe sounded like a frog, but I may be wrong. I don't know. This is the lake that's between the headland that we've been on and the mainland, which is to the left. And so there's a small bridge just around the corner here, which we're going to cross, and then head along that part of the trip all the way back down. So it's really an elongated loop, as you'll see on the maps at the end of the video.
Pine on one side and cedar on the other. Nothing this is.
So this is the lake, the east of the two, between the headland and the mainland. And this is the Mattawa River, and that goes all the way down to the mouth where it meets the Ottawa. Quite a place. You see how rough the terrain is. It's very common here. But there is It's a really nice place.
So we've come down from the rugged country, now walking on mainly a dirt trail that's for the most part flat. The transition is remarkable for the last 1.5 kilometers of this trail. The rocky footing and ups and downs for the first 7-ish kilometers, some of the toughest trail I do, and how we get to finish in a comfortable way. I pity the folks that walk this trail in the opposite direction. So we're off the rocks, come down in here into this quasi rainforest on Boardwalk. It's amazing the difference between the two places. We've got 300 or 400 meters to the canoe launch, and then we'll be on road back to the campground. So Laura, what was your favorite part of today?
I think the sense of accomplishment. Of all the things we sort of talked about, today's hike was not the longest hike I've been on, but it definitely had a lot of vertical. It had a lot of descents. It had a lot of treacherous footings. And so I think I spent more time on this hike looking down at like the field of view right in front of me than I did looking up and checking out the forest. Like I mean, an eagle could have flown by me today. I would not have known a thing. But the mushrooms on the trail, the variety of the trees.
So that's a good
really amazing.
point that you're, the structure of the trail, even though our pace wasn't, ridiculous, you still had to watch, obviously, but that allowed you to look at the little things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And seeing just appreciating some of the colors. Like there was some mushrooms that were super, super ultra, like almost violet red. And same thing on the orange spectrum. And I would never touch any of those because the brighter it is, usually the faster it'll kill you in a mushroom world. But the variety of what we saw and the richness of the colors, it was really just as you're walking by, and it's pine needles and stones everywhere, and yet here's this little hit of color, and you look, and it's this little, mushroom coming out of nothing and nowhere. And you just think, and that's where you chose to live? Okay, there you go, mushroom.
Okay, well, let's get you on camera here. Yeah, there you go. What was your favorite part? Did you, and you now know to watch out for red mushrooms if they show up in your salad.
Yes. No, the views were very great of the water. It was very, very still. I did spend a lot of time, because of the terrain, focused on making sure I had good footing all the way through. I can say it now that we're done the trail, that we did get about 18,000 steps in today so far. I could have stopped at probably 9.
You never know. You're such a trooper. We never hear that.
So,
Good.
But, yeah, it was a great time had by all. Great company.
Thank you. I enjoyed the views and the company. The nature of my hobby, I end up doing a lot of stuff alone. And so having Will and Laura with me today was wonderful because it's a chance to visit with people and share this beautiful place with them. So that was really special for me. I liked with our lunch break, the looks down the Mattawa River, and the fact that really the only way you can get there is doing this. You earn it, and it's a different feeling when you get there versus, you know, taking a boat or even a canoe for that matter. So I've done this 3 or 4 times now, and this was the best experience because it was a bit cooler and I wasn't so blown away by the heat. So I feel pretty grateful that we've had a chance to eat something here. None of it was health food, but it was good, and I really enjoyed the day.
So that was a wonderful day. 12-ish kilometers on the Etienne trail, the history trail, and again a very aggressive up and down and lots of rocks on the trail, very wearing hike for the distance. The 12 kilometers of course is about 3.5 of those were walking on the park roads, so the trail itself is only 8.5, and of that probably only 7.5 are wilderness rocky, and the last kilometer is flatter and on boardwalk and so on. So for me, in my hiking, that's got to be one of the toughest basic trail hikes I've done, and this is my 3rd go at it. It was a little easier for me today because the temperature was lower and I felt a little better, but still I was carrying about 22 or 23 pounds, so you know, it was maybe a little less than in the past, but not much. And so hopefully you enjoyed this little story on the Etienne History Trail in Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park near Mattawa, Ontario. Thank you so much for coming along. If you enjoy my videos, I really would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. It would help me build what I'm trying to do here. And we'll see you down the trail. Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park is located a few kilometers to the west of the small village of Mattawa, Ontario. It is comparatively easy to access. If you come north from the city of Toronto about 300 kilometers, you'll arrive at the city of North Bay, located on the east shore of Lake Nipissing. If you take Highway 17 to the east for approximately 50 kilometers, you will arrive at the park. It's that simple. When you arrive at Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park, you will leave the highway at item 1 on the map. The access road into the main park area is fairly long and is described by number 2. The trailhead for the Etienne trail system is at item 3 and is well signed off of the park roads. As you begin the trail, you start to climb, having your first view of Long Lake at item 4. You then go over the height of land in the center of the peninsula and over to the other side, the north side, where you get your first view of the Mattawa River at item 5. We had lunch at the far end at the place called The Gut at item 6, and then it's a pretty rugged hike back with the last steep climb at item 7, followed by the fairly benign last kilometer or so. All in all, a fine day.